Right, hello everybody, welcome back to the Golden Sky. Today it is Thursday, the 2nd of October 2025, the first video of October. It is spooky season, and it might be spooky season for Liverpool here in today's video. It is the tactics video. It is Thursday, so you could call it Tactical Thursday. Going to be looking at the Galatasaray game and what went wrong, or what went okay in that game. We'll get into that later. We've got lots of screenshots and we're going to look on the tactics board to start the video off as well. Before we do that though, guys, if you are joining me here on YouTube today, thank you very, very much. First of all, please do drop a like on the video if you don't mind. Comment away as well what you think the problem is Liverpool at the minute. And I did say this at the end of the ratings. I'm going to do a video in the international break for taking all your questions, comments about Liverpool. I'll compile them into a video and we'll talk about them, talk about your thoughts and any questions you have. So please drop those in the comments if you do have anything you'd like to go into that video, and just maybe let me know that it's for that video as well. Maybe put a little note that I should use it for the video. If you want to do that, that'd be great. Subscribe to the channel as well. We are one away from 150 subscribers. We are so close. Can we get there after this one and then push to 200? That would be awesome. Podcast listeners, 5-star ratings and reviews. Thank you very much for joining me on there as well, if you are doing so. So, yeah, Liverpool again lose to Galatasaray. Lose again, this time to Galatasaray. And people's heads are falling right off, aren't they? I mean, right off. I'm seeing crisis, I'm seeing catastrophe, I'm seeing all sorts. I even had a blue nose come up to me at work today and give me some stick. And I thought, wow, things are getting bad. I've got the Blues coming over and giving me some shite. So, you know, things are bad when that's happening. The United fans are even getting a bit lippy, but not too lippy. You know, they've got their own problems. So today we'll get into it all. We'll look at everything. But I wanted to touch on a little quote that came out after the game from Jamie Carragher. Which I want you to keep in mind through the video, okay? So he said, Liverpool are not playing football at the minute. They are playing basketball. They, last season, had a top team, but a workman-like team. And they've added some stardust to it this year. Gained nothing forward and lost a lot defensively at the minute. That's what he said. It's pretty damning stuff. Whether you agree or disagree, it's a different story. It's hard to disagree at the minute. I'm not sure I agree wholeheartedly, and I'll talk through the video as we get into it. So let's go and look at the board first of all and discuss some things on there. Let's get into it. All right, guys. So this is how the two sides lined up on Tuesday now. I'm not putting the Galatasaray names on. It's not really important who is playing for them in what we're going to talk about. We're just going to talk about team shape and build up a lot, and also pressing. So let's start off with pressing, because that will be the first clip that we look at today. Will be a Liverpool press. So, for example, Galatasaray had the ball early on. This is flipped from what you're about to see, but Liverpool at the minute have a massive problem pressing the opposition team. A massive problem in the fact that we're just not very good at it at all. You'll see this more in the clips, but if I just push everyone forward, what you'll see in the first clip is something that resembles a little bit like this. So Ekitike's up front, but the goalkeeper can just easily give the ball to the centre-back, okay? We saw this against Palace, where the centre-backs had the ball and they had all the time in the world to make a pass. Wirtz is around here, but Ekitike's coming over. Wirtz is not going to jump on this centre-back. That's not really his job, okay? Frimpong's not in a bad position, but to allow this ball to come to the centre-back so easily and then have no one, jumping on him like this is just not good enough, really. And it's not working at the minute. I don't think it's a personnel thing. I think it's a tactical thing, to be honest. Because what should happen, if the goalkeeper passes this centre-back the ball, okay, let's say the striker has sort of split the two centre-backs to mean that wherever the goalkeeper chooses, he cuts off the other side of the pitch. Okay, that's normal pressing stuff that we see from most teams in the world nowadays. So centre-back gets the ball. what might happen is Ekatike might come over. Verts can jump onto the centre back, put some pressure on. Frimpong should be touch tight to his fullback. Szoboszlai should come up so the pass to the winger can't happen. Maybe Verts can curve his run a little and stop that pass coming in. And then our midfielders should be pushed right up like this on the centre backs, on the opposition midfielders. And our defence should push up too. Now we don't want to get too high like Barcelona, you know, and leave ourselves really exposed. But then this player doesn't have time on the ball to do what he does in the clips. At the minute, this is not what's happening at all. Our midfielders are so deep when the opposition have the ball. It is astounding to me. They are so deep. I mean, they are almost sometimes, Gravenberch is almost sometimes here like this with the striker up front. This is just madness, where our midfielders are. Verts is, you know, hanging back here, and I think that's a tactic to not tell him to go and run and press centre-backs. I think that's the striker's job in Slot's mind at the minute. Szoboszlai is not high. The winger is often high against him. Okay, fair enough. You don't want him to go in here, but you want him to be tight to the winger. And the centre-back just has all the time in the world to do what he wants. And what he's going to do is pop this ball over here or pop it into midfield. And because our midfielders are so deep, they're able to just get the ball like this and have all the time in the world to play. What we're seeing a lot is Liverpool have nobody in the middle of the pitch. And let me transition that into talking about build-up for Liverpool, because this is another problem that we're having. So if I just move everybody back a little bit here, as though Liverpool are building up this time, and we'll talk about this and how it's going. So Galatasaray pressed us in a pretty flat 4-4-2. It looked pretty much something like this. Okay, they weren't that high. They weren't that deep, especially first half. They were deeper second half, and we still couldn't get through. Let's move them back a little bit more like this. But this would be a kind of typical setup. So they were 4-4-2. Gundogan pushed up to make a sort of 2 with Osimhen, and then they would go man-to-man with our centre-backs, basically. But what we should do in this situation is move the ball to a full-back. The striker would have pressed here. Maybe the winger would come in, and then you bounce the ball into the middle, and you're free. You're free. It's not really that difficult to play out of a 4-4-2 when you've got 3 midfielders who can receive the ball. What we're seeing a lot of times is Gravenberch, who's our typically most sitting defensive midfielder, is not here. You might see something like this that teams do a lot, where they split the centre-backs, or even that, not to split them so much. You might see him drop deep. So then if they do press with the 2, you can always use him to play the ball to, you know, maybe they come in here and the ball gets bounced off, or, you know, bounced back and then moved over to the other centre-back whilst the press happens like this. And all of a sudden you're out. We're not seeing that. What we're seeing a lot is a formation that looks like this. And I'm not exaggerating. You'll see this later in the clips, okay? So it'll be the winger high and wide, like this. Striker will be on the last line. Verts will be somewhere buzzing around here, trying to get on the ball desperately, okay? The centre midfielders are often here, okay? And that means that we have, if I could draw a box here, nobody stood in the middle of the pitch. It's insane. So, of course, the centre mid's screen Verts, so he can no longer get the ball. And what we do is give it to Van Dijk, and he just hits long balls like this. And he's brilliant at it. Hits long balls to Gakpo, or big long switches like this to Frimpong. It's a massive issue. We cannot play through the middle of a team at the minute. You'll see it time and time again, and if you go and watch the game back, or you watch the Palace game, we just cannot play through a team. That's why we can't create chances through build-up, like what you'll see later in the clips. So they're 2 massive issues, really. Another issue that we have at the minute is we're playing players just not where they're supposed to play, in my opinion. I think Slot has got a little bit confused, maybe a little bit too obsessed with fitting everybody in, to the point where he's starting to sacrifice players playing in the right position. I mean, if you look at the makeup of this team, right, you've got a centre midfielder playing right back and a right back playing right wing. Now, I understand you have to manage minutes, but why can the right back not play right back, okay? And the midfielder maybe play right wing, or let's play a forward player in right wing, or forget right wing for a second. We could play Mo Salah. Okay, I understand he needs to manage minutes. Fair enough. You don't want to play Mo Salah. Maybe they play a 4-4-2 ourselves in some aspect. Maybe we play Szoboszlai sort of a right midfield, and you end up with this sort of 4-4-1-1, a 4-4-2 at times. Maybe Isak could play. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be this 4-2-3-1 thing that we've been seeing like this, where we have these two midfielders and the wingers. I just don't think it's a good sign that we've signed a right back and then we play the right back that we signed, the right wing, whilst we play our centre mid at right back. What does that say about how much slot trusts Frimpong at right back? I'm not sure. I think this is a reflection on our depth as well, that our depth to Salah seems to be Frimpong. Not ideal. This will all make more sense when we look at the pictures now. So let's go and do that and we'll talk about those. Okay, so here's what we talked about with the dots. So this is the first minute of the game. Okay, we're 1 minute and a bit in here, 1 and 20 seconds maybe. And you'll see here, this is exactly what we drew with the dots. So you've got this Ekatike has just pressed the goalkeeper and he's now running over towards centre back. He's not sprinting. Whether he should sprint or not is a different story. He doesn't need to leg it around everywhere. But this centre back currently has all the time in the world. And it's not disastrous. We're 1 minute in, you know, there's no real vulnerability here, or there shouldn't be. Okay. Florian Wirtz is near this midfielder. Curtis Jones is just stood nowhere, really. He's not marking Torreira. This player could just easily knock the ball to Torreira here, and they could be out. Jones is nowhere near. I think he should be higher up the pitch. But what happens is we don't put any pressure on. You see that the centre-back can just amble forward. He's moved now from where? If you look, he's inside his box. So he's moved from basically here to here, unchallenged. Liverpool just dropped off. Look at Jones. Now, people have been really slating Jones, and they'll pick him out as a reason why we didn't play well. This is not the case at all. Don't let it fool you. Curtis Jones competed in the most duels in the game, won the most duels in the game, 11 out of 20, okay? He is not the reason why we lost this game by any means necessary. But in this situation, it's not good. He's not disastrous because he's not at fault of what happens, but I just don't think this position is good for him where he stood. Right, you've got Gravenberch doing his job. He's coming up to press Gundogan. That's fine. Everyone's fine here. So they hit a long ball. This should be easy to deal with. The long ball goes into this player in the middle. Now look, Curtis Jones, who was before stood in space, this person has just controlled the ball in that space. And Jones is now realising, oh, I wasn't near anybody, and tries to press, okay? But he's able to bring the ball down, take a touch into the middle, and turn away. And look, no one Liverpool player is near him. Wirtz is tracking back. Jones is now, 5 yards away from him? Look where he received the ball. Because Jones has to run back, and the Galatasaray player nicely controls the ball back where it came from. He makes a bit of space for himself. He's created a distance, and now look at Liverpool, okay? We are now actually in a bit of a 4-4-2, or 4-4-1-1, if you'd like to call it. We've got the flat back four, we've got the four in the midfield. But this is where we see Szoboszlai is a problem at right back. In fact, you can't see him because I'm in the way. Let me try and hide myself. Okay, here we go. Yes, Szoboszlai is here, and this player is going to get the ball in this situation. So, again, no pressure on the ball. Look, he's been able to now take a touch, dribble backwards a little bit, turn around. Look, Jones isn't near. Gravenberch is doing nothing. This is nothing. He's not doing anything here. Not tackling, not putting pressure on. Nowhere to be seen. Now, Szoboszlai's not a right back, so I don't blame him for this, but the winger has already seen the opportunity. He's quick, Yilmaz. Okay, the ball gets played. Szoboszlai gets beat. This is 2 minutes into the game. Okay, let me put myself back on so you can see me. Szoboszlai gets beat. They nearly score. We get away with it. Okay, this is a massive problem with our pressing. They shouldn't be able to just loft balls into the middle of the pitch and have through balls played through. I also just want to look at our defensive line when this fella has the ball, okay? because we don't really do anything. No one steps up the pitch together to play offside. That's fine. I don't necessarily want us to do that all the time. But they're just not really deep enough or high enough. They're just in no man's land, really. And that's why this ball can be threaded through. It's just a disaster, really. They nearly score. We get away with it. Okay, this was one of our good moments of the game. When we nearly score ourselves. It was our best move of the whole game. So the ball gets knocked down. Curtis Jones picks it up, wins the ball in the middle. He sees about to go into a bit of a challenge with Torreira. He wins it, knocks it to Gakpo, gets clattered in the process. And Gakpo, who I thought played well in the first half. Again, I think he gets some unfair criticism. I thought he was pretty good. 3 chances created, most in the whole game for Liverpool, and obviously got took off. The next 2 were Wirtz and Frimpong, also got took off with 2 each. So make of that what you will. Gakpo receives the ball. Ekitike straight away, you can see, wants to run. Does exactly that. Gets on his bike. Gakpo plays a nice ball through. It's good play. Okay, we get through. Ekitike gets to this position. Right, now, he gets a little bit knocked off balance. The screenshot doesn't do it justice. He tries to roll the ball this way. The goalkeeper sticks his foot out and intercepts it. But I just do wonder, could he have dinked him? Could he have hit it round him? In this moment, could he even have knocked it here? Because Frimpong would have got it and knocked it in the net. But he's a striker, so that's maybe asking a little bit too much. Anyway, he doesn't. He knocks it around the goalkeeper. They scramble it off the line. It comes here. Wirtz tries a back heel. I'm not really sure why. He's thinking Ekitike is going to come like around him and hit it. I don't think he has any idea that Torreira is behind him. It's just poor play. It is what it is. He gives the ball away. Torreira picks it up. If I tell you that from this position, Galatasaray get a penalty in about 10 seconds, it's astounding, isn't it? I mean, it really is. Look how many players they have in their own box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players in their own box, plus this one nearly inside. And they get a penalty in our own box in about 10 seconds. So Torreira plays the ball out to Gundogan. Now, again, this is a problem with our press, in my opinion. Because Gravenberch is just doing nothing again. Now, what I mean by that is, he's not stopping any passes here. Like, if there's a player stood over here, Gundogan can just play him the ball. He's not screening anything. He's not tight enough to him. He should be touch tight to Gundogan there, in my opinion. He should be right up against him. So when he receives the ball, he's got no time to turn, to play out, to do anything with the ball. He's not fast enough. He's not close enough to the midfielder. And this is his job, is to hold the midfielder. If you watch João Palhinha for Spurs, okay, you watch Rodri for City, you watch Frankie de Jong for Barcelona, okay. As soon as this ball would come to this man, they'd be right on him. Right on them, okay. Pressing. Gundogan, look, has time again to turn around in the middle of the pitch. Turns around, very similar to what we saw before, where Gravenberch is now Jones. He's now yards away from the player, and Wirtz is tracking back. Okay, Gundogan pirouettes in the middle. Again, look, pirouetted. Gravenberch still nowhere near anybody. Ignore my scribbles. And now look, Florian Wirtz is saying to Ekitike, look, the ball's going to come here. Like this. Look. Ekitike, a striker. This is not his forte, of course. But how can Torreira have just wandered like this into the middle and now be completely free? Where is Jones? Okay, that's the question. Here he is. Why is he here? Again, he's not the reason we lost this game, but this is bad. This is bad. There's no two ways about it. Why is he so deep? Why? I don't understand. Torreira now, look. Remember we talked about it on the board? No one in the middle of the pitch for Liverpool? Look. No one in the middle. All our players have come over here. Here's our number 10. Here's our holding midfielder. Here's our striker. It's just disastrous. Now Torreira turns around on the ball. No one near him. Jones didn't close him down. Why? I have no idea. Look where he picks the ball up. For me, Jones is already running the wrong way. He needs to run this way and close him down. Look, he's retreated from here into the centre circle. Ekitike's done the running, but he's nowhere near affecting the ball. And he's going to hit this out wide to the winger, whose foot you can just see there. So it comes one-on-one. And now, all of a sudden, we're in this situation. It's Jamie Carragher is calling basketball. And in this situation, you have to agree. If this was basketball, that would be called a fast break, okay? Because that's when you turn over the ball in your own sort of end of the field or the court. It's what we did. And the other team counter-attacks you, a fast break, and they score. They go one-on-one with Szoboszlai. Again, he's not a one-on-one defender. That's not why we bought him. They get lucky. It's never a penalty in a million years. Point is, they get the penalty. And like we're seeing it against Palace, our players sprinting back towards their own goal. They score. They go 1-0 up. Now this one, I just wanted to put this in because it's unbelievable as to how we are at the minute. Galatasaray kick a long ball, okay? Van Dijk wins the header, as he usually does. And he knocks it into the middle of the pitch. Look at the middle of the pitch. Look. This is absolutely insane. Where are our midfielders? Why is Gravenberch so high up the pitch, basically on the right wing? Why is Jones so deep, stood next to Van Dijk holding his hand? You'll see the ball lands, look where it lands. Right in the middle. This should be where Jones is. Again, he should be here. At the very least, Gravenberch should be close enough so then he could just run and pick it up. Okay? Look at Van Dijk. He's like, where are we, everybody? Okay? Who comes out of nowhere? The Galatasaray player, they win the ball again. Jones is still sat on his own centre-backs. This is what we talked about in the press. Our midfielders are sitting so deep, randomly. Galatasaray fed the ball through, and now look at our back line. This is, again, it's just madness. Okay? Van Dijk is playing offside. He's stepped up. Jones is here. Again, no pressure on the ball. He's let Gravenberch come and press the ball. He's too late. Jones is doing literally nothing here. There's no point of him standing here, okay? Kerkez is way too high. I have no idea why Kerkez is so high. If you look where Van Dijk is when he heads the ball, back to this one. As soon as Van Dijk heads this and the ball comes in here, Van Dijk and Kerkez, have got to run back to position. Okay? Van Dijk starts to here. It's too late. Kerkez is not fast enough back. Look at Szoboszlai. He's trying to play offside. He's too deep. But look at Konate. He wants to run back. This is just unorganised chaos at the back. The ball comes through to Osimhen. He nearly lobs Alisson. We nearly go 2-0 down. Right, now it's build up. Okay, this is only a short clip. Nothing actually comes of this, but I wanted to put it in. Because look, Galatasaray in the 4-4-2, Osimhen and Gundogan. Gundogan is not interested in running close to Van Dijk because he's old, okay? Galatasaray's idea wasn't to high press us. It was just to match us and nullify us. So Van Dijk has the ball. Gravenberch is here. What I think should happen is he should pop himself into this position and Van Dijk should pass him the ball. If Osimhen comes in here like this, then Van Dijk can just easily... Van Dijk can just easily move the ball to Konate. Okay, or even to Alisson if he needs to. Now, where is Jones? Again, I have absolutely no idea. Jones should be here, in my opinion, and then he can receive this ball. What happens is Van Dijk kicks the ball long. We do this all the time. We have done for many years, and it's worked, but we now don't have a variety in our game at the minute. We don't have variety. Jones, you can see, has just entered the fray. Van Dijk kicks the ball long. It goes to Gakpo. It's a brilliant pass, because look where it ends up. We get the ball here. Now, nothing actually comes of this at all. We lose the ball. It is what it is. I just wanted to put it in to show, basically, how little our midfielders are offering for the ball. Because they know Van Dijk is going to kick it long. Okay, compare this to Barcelona PSG last night. Okay, this is the last minute of the game. This is PSG's winning goal. Okay, the last minute. So the players that should be knackered. Okay, look at the build-up in this goal. And now I want to preface this by saying Barcelona aren't perfect here at all. They do a lot wrong, and at the end of the move especially. But just look at the play from PSG. And this is a team without the Ballon d'Or winner, Ousmane Dembele, without Richard Kvaratskhelia, without Desiree Doué. Okay, Barcola's been taken off. There's no João Neves. Look how well they play here. The goalkeeper has the ball. Look at the confidence. Look where the centre-back has the ball. He's in his own box. We see this a lot with Liverpool. If this was Konate, it would be panic stations, okay? But Zabani has the ball. Look, Barca pressing. We see a similar thing. The strikers pressed the goalkeeper, and now we're moving over towards to press the ball. Right, look at Barcelona. I also want to highlight their press because it's good at first. Look, he's coming to press the right back. You can see he's sprinting towards. So there's no possible way Zabani can pass this ball to Hakimi without him immediately being pressed. But what do PSG's midfielders do? Okay. One of them showing for the ball. He's running away from his midfielder, his marker, towards the play to show for the ball. Zabani could knock it in here. Okay. He actually misses him out. He knocks it all the way from here to, this is Kang-in Lee, or Lee Kang-in, who's, again, ran off his man. Barcelona like to go man-to-man where they can. And he's received the ball. Now, it's a tight area. He's got to have a good first touch and he's got to be confident on the ball, but that's what the best teams are. Okay. Hakimi already on his bike, making the Barcelona player have to run back. Lee takes his time. Look, Hakimi's ran beyond Lee, so he has all this space to sort of work in. Takes his time, little body feint, runs away from the pressure. Look at Barca though. Look how well they've pressed. Touch tight, you know, touch tight here. But PSG, brilliant. The ball comes into this young lad. I don't even know his name. He's barely played for PSG. Okay, receives the ball. Look at Vitinha now, the other midfielder. So Lee's just done his good work. Look at Vitinha, just came third in the Ballon d'Or, by the way. De Jong was touch tight to him, look, on this picture. Completely touch tight, like I said he would be. You remember Gravenberch was stood 10 yards off. De Jong touch tight, but Vitinha's movement's so clever. The ball comes in and immediately Barcelona want to retreat, okay? Look, everybody's retreating. Casado's retreating. De Jong retreating. Vitinha recognises it and just peels off him. And they pass him the ball first time. And now look at all the time Vitinha has. Okay, and we've just gone from them having the ball with their goalkeeper in a couple easy passes, confident on the ball, a bounce into midfield, a little bit of dribbling, a bounce into midfield again, and immediately a wall pass back to the centre midfielder. And a wall pass is when the ball comes in like this and is bounced off straight away, like a wall. Imagine if Vitinha did one to Gonzalo Ramos here, the ball would come in and immediately be bounced off like a wall back where it came from. It's an effective way to beat a line of press. Vitinha gets on the ball, and now they're out. They're out the first line of press, okay? He has all the time in the world, because that's just the player he is, super confident. And now this is where Barcelona get it wrong. I mean, they play this high line. This, if you think Liverpool's line is not great at the minute, this is insanity from Barcelona. Remember Hakimi's run earlier? Well, you're about to see him. Here he is. He's ran up from right back, right at the edge of his own box, all the way here. Barcelona are so high, Vitinha was able to just guide this ball to him. Now, he's too quick for anybody else. And look at Gonzalo Ramos. You look at him here, he's actually stood offside, okay? Because he knows there is no point him getting the ball with Barcelona so high up the pitch. There is just no point in it happening. Because if he does, they'll tackle him. It's too tight. Even if he receives the ball and keeps it, where are Barcelona really going to go? So he stands intentionally offside for this exact reason. Because now Hakimi's got the ball, look, he's 5-10 yards away from the defence. Hakimi can cross the ball in. We won't touch on this for too long. I just wanted to show you the build-up. And they score a goal and they win it. And that's come from, if I just go right back to the goalkeeper, it's come from here. Short passes along the ground. And they score. Let's go back to Liverpool. Okay. Here's Liverpool. Halfway line. Konate on the ball. Right. Galatasaray now, much lower. Okay, not really interested in coming on to Liverpool, especially when we've got the ball into their half. Okay. This is the difference in trust and quality in Liverpool at the minute compared to what we just seen with PSG. Konate gets on the ball. Now, Gravenberch has made himself into a good area here. He should maybe take one more step to his left, so then Konate can pass him the ball easily without Gundogan getting it. He's hiding a little bit behind Gundogan. Konate's looking at him. Szoboszlai is literally saying, look, pass him the ball here. Look, he's pointing, right? Because if Gravenberch receives the ball here, he can turn, he can run forward. You know, maybe the fullback comes, maybe this player comes. You can either bounce it to Wirtz, you can bounce it to Frimpong. We've got opportunities, okay? He doesn't. He turns that pass down. Okay. Szoboszlai still pointing, saying, give it him. He turns that down. Okay. Now, Florian Wirtz comes alive. Okay. He's now dropping into this area. Look, this nice little circled pocket of space, you might call it. He's coming in here because he recognises he can receive the ball. Let's draw a better line here like this. And then all these players might converge on him. You see Sanchez, look, sprinting towards him. And if they do that, Florian Wirtz could maybe pop the ball to Gravenberch. And Liverpool could beat a lot of players. Konate turns that down. He gives it to Jones. Easy pass. We do the easy pass too many times. Okay. Sanchez can just pop back in his position. There's no danger for him. We haven't moved Galatasaray anywhere. Now Jones has the ball. He looks this way. For me, can he now give this ball to Gakpo and can we get at them on the wing? Okay, I think he can. Right. Turns it down. Goes back. Back to Konate, back where he came from. We're now 5 yards further back. Okay. Konate has the ball. Again, Wirtz here like this. Pocket of space, exactly the same as before. But now, Konate gives him the ball. I don't know why he decides to do it now and not before, but he does. Look at Wirtz. This is why I'm confused with the criticism that's coming Wirtz's way a little bit. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand he starts life at Liverpool, hasn't been scintillating maybe as we expected it to be. He hasn't necessarily hit the ground running. I completely agree. I'm not saying he's been good, but people saying Florian Wirtz is the problem and needs to come out of the team, and as in we should leave him on the bench for a good few games is baffling to me. These are some of the best players in the world. Fact, okay? They don't just lose their ability to play football like overnight and mean that they're not good anymore. This type of thing that Wirtz is doing is going completely unnoticed because nothing's coming of it, because Liverpool aren't making anything of it. And you'll see what I mean here. Okay. When he's playing number 10, in the middle of the pitch is when he's best. If he's out here, he's useless because he's not a winger. This is another whole thing with it. I want to show, he's checking his shoulder before the ball's even come. He's looking over here, and you'll see why that's important in a second. He already knows what's going on. The ball arrives at his feet. He's under pressure immediately. He gets it out his feet, and he plays the ball out here where he was just looking to Frimpong in all this space. And we've gone from passing the ball from Konate to Jones, Jones to Konate. The ball goes to Wirtz, and in a split second, it's out wide, one-on-one. That's what he's doing for us. He's not only creating chances, he's doing all our build-up at the minute. He's the only one who does any sort of build-up. Okay, Frimpong does really well, gets to the byline, puts a cross in, Ekatike hits the little flick, nearly goes in. It's our best move. It took us a while to get into it. It's our best move of the second half. It all came from Florian Wirtz getting the ball in this situation, and we need to be braver passing him the ball. Okay, the ball should have come to him here. It should have come here. We should have passed it to Gravenberch here, but it then should come to Wirtz here. It takes too long. Everything's taking too long for Liverpool. And by the time we get it to him, good things happen. When we shift him out wide left, it can't happen the same. Now, next up, this is just when we see mistakes start to creep in. Look where Alisson is. He's just come to sweep up. Gives the ball to Frimpong. Frimpong just pops it to Konate. Okay, he's asking for the ball. Konate gets on it. Now, when I show you the next screenshot from what happens here, it's unbelievable. All he has to do is knock the ball here. This is as easy a pass as it gets, okay? If I tell you that Osimhen gets the ball, would you believe me? Well, he does. Because Konate gives possibly the worst ball you've ever seen. And what's ironic about this is the ball possession stat comes up. Liverpool dominating the ball, losing the game, doing nothing with it. Osimhen gets through one-on-one. Alisson saves it, gets injured. That's from Konate's pass. Individual errors. Now look at this one. More build-up. This is the last clip I'll show you actually today. Van Dijk had the ball. Okay, he's passed it into midfield. Look, he's asking, where is everybody? Right, here's our centre midfielder. Stood next to him. Why? I don't know. Here's our other centre midfielder. Just way too high. Is our striker dropping in to help build up? The reason why our striker's here is because Wirtz, if he wasn't off the pitch, I can't even remember if he got subbed, is over here. So he's not the one dropping in, right? He's over on the left wing, right? Ekitike drops in as a striker, gets on the ball. Now, Curtis Jones, okay, should be here. So then Ekitike can bounce the ball to him like a wall, and then Jones can maybe find another pass. Maybe when the players come, look, this is a centre-back coming out. Maybe there's a player here maybe where he can knock the ball into. Jones is way too deep. Van Dijk's telling him to pass it. This is a tough pass for Ekitike because let's say he controls it well, okay? He then has to find this pass. It's not the easiest ball in the world. If he slightly misplaces it or underhits it, you know, Osimhen and Gundogan have it. This is too big a distance to build up with. They knock him off the ball. It's a bad first touch. And look, they get the ball right on the edge of their own box. It ends up with Osimhen. They nearly score. And that's from our own build-up. Van Dijk passing the ball into the middle. This is just not good enough. Should he not give it here to Kerkez and then Kerkez hit the line? You know? It's just... It really is not good at Liverpool at the minute. So to wrap up today, I just want to go back to the board and point out what I think Liverpool should do to fix their issues at the minute. Okay. The first thing I would do is play a right back at right back. I don't care if that's Frimpong. I don't care if it's Bradley. Let's just call it Bradley for time being. Let's say Conor Bradley should play right back. Okay. They just know where to be better. Okay. I think Szoboszlai should play in the middle. And I think this then becomes Mo Salah, obviously. Okay, I think Szoboszlai needs to play in the middle with Gravenberch. But I think we need to see something that looks more like this when we build up. Okay. Now, this is something that we've seen a lot of teams do for a long, long time, where the centre midfielder splits the centre backs, okay? I want to see something like this, where we have Gravenberch as a clear holding midfielder, who's always a pivot, a fulcrum to be able to receive the ball, like what we saw Fabinho do for us for years and years and years. Szoboszlai can drop in and help, but what we see a lot of teams do is sort of bring a sort of narrow 3, then you end up with something like this, like a 2-3-2-3 almost. If Van Dijk wants to play his long balls to Gakpo, he can. You can even leave Kerkez and Bradley wide like this, which is, I think, probably what we should do. Leave those two wide, let Gravenberch drop in here, and then let Van Dijk and Konate have the ball. Let the man press like this. Let the ball come to Gravenberch. Let him float around in here, you know. Let him receive the ball off the goalkeeper. You know, like this. Let Florian Wirtz drop into the middle and receive the ball. You know, he can take it in his path and run forward with it. Van Dijk can still do the big switches, you know, out to Salah. I think that needs to happen. I also then think when the other team has the ball, we need to press differently. And I'll just quickly show what I mean by that. It doesn't matter who's playing, but it doesn't matter if Robertson's playing left back. It doesn't matter if Gakpo's playing left wing, if Salah's playing, if Ekitike, Isak. It doesn't matter who's playing. We have to press differently than what we are. I think most teams in the Premier League will split like this, and they'll have the goalkeeper take the kick, you know, come to the centre back, and the striker will run round. I think we need to jump onto the midfielders more, like this, and have Wirtz be our presser. I think Wirtz should jump off the midfielder onto the centre back, and then our midfielders should jump onto the midfielders. I think our defensive line should push way higher up the pitch, way higher, to squeeze the life out of the other team, win the ball back. Okay, Salah should be high, Gakpo should be high, and then there's nowhere for this player to go. And let's say they kick it long and they win the ball and it ends up in the middle. Our midfielders should be touch tight to players like this. So even if, let's say, it goes here, the ball, when Wirtz comes, they go back to the goalkeeper, they move it wide, and then they have a little bit more time. our midfielders should still be touch tight, so then they can't possibly just pass the ball in here like this. If they do, they'll be tackled, okay? Gakpo can then come in. Kirkes can press up nice and high. We just need to be more aggressive, I think, and build up much more uniform, structured, normal than having these random sort of centre backs next to centre mids and centre mids up front. It's all just a bit wrong at the minute. That's what I'd do to fix. I'd just move our players into their normal positions. I would never take Wirtz out of number 10 ever. Unless if you take him off, put Szoboszlai there like we saw last season, that's fine. But don't put him out on the left wing ever. It's just a bad move, okay? That's what I'd do. So that is going to do it for today's video, guys. I hope you did enjoy. We looked at quite a lot there, I know. We looked at the tactics board of sort of things that we did wrong in the game, as well as some clips compared to the PSG Barca game, which was a footballing clinic, by the way. If you didn't watch that, you missed out on a good game. And then just a little touch on what I would do to sort of fix some of the things going wrong at Liverpool. And the general gist is just go to a more conventional style for a little bit till we find our groove. And we will find our groove, guys. This is not a crisis. We have to beat Chelsea. The preview will be tomorrow for that one. But we need that result to bounce back. But it's not... Liverpool are not suddenly bad. Like, full stop, okay? We will find form again at some point this season. We are just a little bit off it at the minute. So if you did enjoy today's video, please do leave a like on it. Remember to leave your comments on what you think of the game, and also any questions you have about Liverpool, any comments, anything you want me to talk about for Liverpool in that sort of Q&A sort of video that I'll do in the international break. Drop them as well. And subscribe to the channel. Let's hit 150 subscribers. Let's smash it. Let's get right on the road to 200 for the preview for the Chelsea game tomorrow. There'll be ratings after the game on Saturday, so lots of videos to come out. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your week until those, nearly at the weekend now. So enjoy tomorrow, guys. I'll speak to you all very, very soon. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.